Oh, hey, Charlie. There goes Charlie. Anyway, so look, man, let me change the camera view over to this so you can see what I'm doing. We are going to look at some tardigrades. Uh, I'm hoping I can show you this. There we go. All right, so this is a piece of lichen that I found out in the woods. It's just maple, I believe. I'm not sure what bark it is, but it's a birch tree, and it's lichen, which is a fungus or algae that grows on tree bark. And lots of birds use it for nest building, and it's just a cool looking thing altogether. I wish I could show it to you really close. It's got some crazy fungal patterns on it. Okay, but lichen are also wonderful homes for tardigrades. And so this is my microscope setup over here. And I've got this Firewire camera, standard microscope. We're on the lowest magnification. And we're going to look at some tardigrades. So what are tardigrades? Well, those are water bears. And you see them on the internet all the time with big fancy electron microscope photos, et cetera. But they're really easy to see, and they're one of the most common organisms on Earth. So I'm going to switch over to the microscope camera now, and let's see if we can find one. I'm on a little bit higher magnification. There he is. This, my friends, is a tardigrade. And I just found this little guy on a hunk of lichen out at the Clyde Shepherd Nature Preserve. You can see it's got, what, 8 legs there? Or maybe 3 sets of legs and some sort of appendage. So I would let everyone sign into the Zoom meeting, but last time I did that, we had somebody hack it and play a bunch of porn. So we won't be doing that again. That looks like some little object harassing the tardigrade. And let me show you how freaking happy I am that I found the tardigrade, man. It's awesome. And again, it's on this little chunk of lichen that I soaked in this bowl of water overnight, and now we're just putting it in a microscope. So let's look at it again. Hey, tardigrade. Awesome, man. That is the coolest thing. And that's a piece of lichen down there on the bottom right. Yeah, man, that is the coolest little thing ever. And this is a color camera. This is reality in microscopes. This isn't the internet. Well, it is the internet, obviously, but this is what they actually look like in a microscope. Man, that is so cool. Water bear. And, you can see the field of view in this microscope is so shallow that you can focus all through the body and get different things in focus. And I believe we're looking at the underside of this tardigrade. Now he's rolling over on his side and we're seeing the top. I say he, it would be more accurate. 8-legged segmented micro animal, first discovered by German zoologist Johann August Ephraim Geuss in the late 1700s. They are everywhere in Earth's biosphere. They're in the animal kingdom, obviously. And they're super cool. There's about 1,300 species of tardigrade known. There's probably 10 times that many. They're said to be the toughest animal on Earth, whatever. All microorganisms are pretty tough. But there was a lot of news about one of them surviving, or some of them surviving on the lunar surface and all that sort of stuff. They don't survive at absolute zero. Nothing does. And this is a very simple consumer available microscope that we're using to look at this tardigrade. Anybody can go out and get it. What is the size of it? I don't know, 1/20th of a millimeter, maybe. They're about 0.05 millimeters. And they can get up to they usually don't get any bigger than 1 millimeter, but they're usually much smaller than a millimeter. This one is much, much smaller than a millimeter. This is probably less than 1/10 of a millimeter in size. I don't have my scale out to look at, but it's super tiny. I mean, the little band above it there, that thing, that's one of the dividers in the slide, and that's 0.5 millimeters. So that's how small the sucker is. Tiny, tiny, tiny. They can live just about anywhere. They prefer to live in sediment at the bottom of lakes, pieces of moss, and any other wet environment. They can withstand environments as cold as 328 degrees below zero, or as high as 300 degrees above zero. They'll be here long after we're gone, and they were here long before we got here. Discovered by a German pastor. I think I mentioned that, Protestant German pastor. And they eat fluid. You know, they suck the juice from algae, lichens, and moss. So a lichen patch is a really great place to find tardigrades because that's what they eat. They suck the fluid out of the lichen to get its nutrients. They reproduce both sexually and asexually, depending on which species. They can lay 30, 40 eggs at a time. Females lay the eggs, the males fertilize them. And then in some species, just the females lay the eggs, and they'll develop without fertilization, like a lot of microscopic animals do. The mouth of the tardigrade, which is on the left side of this image here, I believe, it actually telescopes out like alien, and there's little tiny teeth inside the mouth that they use to grab onto food. Not really teeth that we think of, you know, enamel teeth, but just tiny, tiny little firm appendages that grab onto food. They have to have water to survive. They have to be coated in water to survive. I'm going to move the scope over a little bit. Okay. And they're just a super cool animal. And this is a color camera that I'm using. So in reality, this is about as colored as they get. Of course, on the internet, you know, everybody adds color and things to them, which is cool. But in this case, this is a live view of a real tardigrade moving around in this water. If you want, I can go ahead and go up to a higher power. Let's see if I can get him in there in a higher power. Magnification power I'm speaking of. Let's see what that looks like. If we can find him. All right. There we go. Look at that. Now you can see the head of the tardigrade. My goodness, that's awesome. Wow. Look at that little sucker. All right, that's his face right there on the bottom, if you want to call it a face. It's a bilateral organism, so food comes in there, waste goes out there. That's what bilateral means in the animal kingdom. You know, a long time ago, we evolved to a point where it became advantageous to eat from a separate place where we poop, and thus developed the bilateral organism, me and you. Yeah, this is really cool, man. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope some people are getting to watch this. Look at that. What an incredible little tiny thing. I mean, it's less than 1/10 of a millimeter in length. And the screen, the frame is filled with this animal, Bonnie Dotson, 1/10 of a millimeter. Man, that is so cool. Look at his little legs. I'm going to take a picture of this sucker. All right, let's see if I can get a good picture of it. I'm sending a text to Bonnie. I'm going to mute the mic real quick. All right, we're back. Okay. Yeah, man. So, holy smokes. Oh, wait a minute. What am I doing here? I don't want to do that. Okay, anyway, hey, this is really awesome. Let me change back to the cool camera. There it is. Seems to be doing pretty well in there. All right. Now, just like in Star Trek Discovery, he was just about to hibernate there from stress. And as you saw in the mycelial network drive, when the tardigrade gets angry, it will kill your security officer. And when it gets too stressed out or too wore out, it just curls up and ejects all its fluid and hibernates. We don't want to do that. Check it out. I hope this is actually going out on Facebook. Let me check. It's such a cool animal. Yeah, that is incredible. Very fortunate to be alive with technology like this, where we can look at such beautiful animals in the microscopic scale through the macroscopic scale, all the way up to telephoto and full frame cameras. I mean, you know, this is a great time to be alive, yo. Look at that little tardigrade. Unbelievable. Wow. All right, so look, man, I'm gonna keep looking at the tardigrade. You would not believe the view through the eyepiece. It is absolutely amazing. My goodness. I'm gonna take the light off this tardigrade and put it back into the water with my lichen. I got this lichen still soaking in this bowl of water, and there's probably thousands of these tardigrades in there, but I'm gonna put this one back in there so that it will live another day and we can look at it maybe tomorrow. And thanks for tuning in to Sunlit Earth for this awesome show. I'm giddy like an 8-year-old, man, because, you know, seeing this stuff in the microscope is really cool. So we'll see you again real soon. Bye.